Hey guys, I hope that you're having a super great week. Um, this is week 4 video discussion of our chapters this week, and didn't seem like there was as many as there were last week, although they were awesome. I loved it. Starting with the Bauman chapter 6, coordinating all the technical elements. Boy, is that hitting me right where I live right now. I'm in the middle of the rehearsal process for my one act competition piece. It's a one act version of The Trojan Women by Euripides with my high schoolers. And at this point, the blocking is done, the kids are off book. I'm pushing for solid memorization and fine tuning their acting choices when I work with them in rehearsal. But at all other times, oh, I'm putting on all the different hats right now and making choices about costumes, set, props, lighting specials, and of course, the sound effects and music. Um, I loved how and agree with how the author talked about having parents, friends, family members come in and help. I typically try to do that, even though I fundraise and I'm able to bring in a set designer, but and he will build a little too, but I always bring in help. It just creates an esprit de corps, and it gives um, family members who transition into audience members later, but it kind of gives them, when they are audience members, a little bit of ownership of the show. And I love using lighting choices and especially the sound, which takes me to chapter 8 in the Catron book. Oh my gosh, I loved this chapter before I read the first word, just because it's about sound and because I love making the music and sound effects choices, even in the straight play. Um, I I love to create ambient noises to help connect. I know that as an audience member, I really connect when I hear the not only the sound effects but some musical underscoring. I also think that music underneath scene changes is awesome because it helps the audience. I think it makes the scene changes not last so long, and it's kind of a psychological thing that happens there. I liked the idea in the chapter too about actors' voices being musical, and I have found that that's true. And though that the time of oratorical acting is over and done with, still that to have a nice vocal quality, warm and pleasing to the ear, is great if you can find it. Although in Trojan Women, a lot of the style is presentational, and it does incorporate that oratorical acting, as the chapter said. Um, in chapter 9 about spectacle, I loved the statement that came right off the bat about spectacle is to the eye as music is to the ear. So true. Um, all of the visual aspects of a production, from lighting to the scenery to costumes and makeup and props and hair, and if you can use projections, any dancing that happens, levels, and just regular choreographed music are just such important decisions that have to be made at every step, just to ensure that the director's vision is fully supported by all those things. It was also really kind of awesome in this chapter to be reminded of the origins of theater, and how even as far back as the Greek amphitheaters, um, the specific shape even then contributed to the masses being able to more clearly see and hear the actors. hundreds and hundreds upon hundreds of years before electricity and any advances in lighting and scenery and sound. The human ingenuity is astounding. I thought that the chapter was very clear in the visual aspects of the production and what all spectacle does. It establishes environment, it enriches characterization, it creates mood and style, and enhances the play's meaning. It helps to engage and enthrall the audience, and contributes to the audience's aesthetic pleasure. And then, oh my gosh, the at the end in a chapter about spectacle, a big takeaway for me was all of the amazing pictures in that chapter. Wow, it was awesome to see the different designs of productions that I've done in the past and how they were different and how they were similar. And it was also fun to see pictures, of shows that I don't know, and all those beautiful designs. A lot of them really made me want to uh, get to know that show. And then the last chapter about the ground plan. Um, the very first quote, part of the quote, it was awesome. It's, a work of art can influence only through imagination. I love that, and and how the person was quoting another person and went on to say, but uh, it really must stir it, not leave it inactive through trying to show everything. Um, and I know that quote was, suppose was used to reinforce the importance of a good ground plan for a play, but it also reminded me of my work with my students and how they, when they're given a chance to create a scene in class, how they constantly are just trying to show me and tell me, when I want them I want the characters to be living the situation instead of saying, oh man, I sure am a starving homeless person who was just kicked out. They just, they just want to tell it. And I, I kind of related it to the acting too, as far as don't, let your imagination go and make it so on stage. Let the story unfold through it instead of just boop, telling everything with the picture or through words. I love the list that of things that make a good ground plan, um, and that it's organically part of the play's dramatic action. The ground plan, and I loved the chart it showed and the examples and how it's like bird's eye. I was laughing because that's pretty much all I can do because I'm not the world's greatest artist. So all of my sketches that I give to a designer or when I build myself, I draw it out. It's totally ground plan because I am not an artist and elevations are not easy for me. But anyway, it was very informative, bunch of chapters that I really, really enjoyed. And it's been awesome as I'm also directing a show to kind of really go back and think about these things and kind of as a checklist, am I doing everything I need to be doing? So this has been great, and it's super fun to read your essays on your chapters and to see your videos. So I'm looking forward to seeing them once I post this one. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye.